All right, and welcome to day 6 of our Blender class. Today we will be adding a base to our trophy and also putting a plate on it saying congratulations, Blender Master. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. So if you already have your trophy to this part, what we're going to do is we are going to, if your trophy is underneath the 3D plane like this, you're going to go into a front face view by pressing 1 on your keyboard or hitting orthographic, then hitting your axis up there in the top right hand corner. You're going to highlight everything either by clicking on it and then hold shift to click on the next item, or just by hitting A, which selects everything. From that point, you're going to hit G to grab, Z to go up on the Z axis, and we're going to move our trophy up here to the plane. All right, so got that part. So next we are going to hit Shift A to go to our add menu. We're going to go to mesh and we're going to select a cube. So from this point we're going to hit 1 for front facing view, and we're going to make sure that our cube is selected. We're going to go into edit mode, and then we're going to go into vertex select, where it brings up our vertices or our dots. And then from that point we're going to go over here to x-ray mode in the top right hand corner. The reason why we're going into x-ray mode is because if we were not in x-ray mode, and say for instance we wanted to bring these top vertices down, we'll highlight both of them, we'll click G to grab, Z to move on the Z axis, and when we bring down, you see that we still have vertices in the back, right? So let's go back to 1. We're going to undo that. So we're going to turn on x-ray mode, and now if we select the top 2 vertices, you'll see the back one selected as well. So back in front facing view now, we're going to hit G and Z to move those along the Z axis, and we're going to bring our box right up here to the bottom of our trophy. We're going to grab the bottom 2 vertices and bring them up a little bit as well. Alright, so looking like that. So next we're going to hit A to select all of our vertices, and we're going to scale on every axis except for the Z. So we're going to hit S to scale, and then we're going to hold shift and tap Z, because we're telling it that we want to minus that Z plane, and now we can pull out a little bit, just a little bit, and now we have it out right there. Alright, so now we go to a side view by pressing 3 on our number pad, or going up to our orthographic view here in the top right hand corner underneath the camera. We can go there and then shift our axis. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to bring both of these out on the Y plane by hitting G and Y. Alright, that's good. Then we're going to select our top vertices and hit G, Y, and bring those back for a little slant for our plate. Alright, so that's where we're at now. So next what we want to do is we want to come out of x-ray mode, top right hand corner. We're going to go into face select, and we're going to select the front face, and after we do that we will hit I for an inset, and we'll inset the front face like this. Alright, once again we're going to undo that. We're going to select the front face, and we will hit I for an inset and inset the front face like that. Alright, so now if we press 3 on our number pad and go to a side view, we want to extrude this plate just a little bit. So if we hit E for extrude, you notice that the blue line comes up going in the direction that that slanted face is facing. That is because we are extruding locally. But if we were to hit Y again, it would go on a world axis. Alright, so let's undo that. We're going to hit extrude again, and we're going to extrude locally. I'm going to bring this out just a little bit, not a lot. And there we go. So now next what we're going to do is we are going to change the color of our box here. So let's go over here to our material tab. We're going to hit new, and it's going to give us a default white color. And we're going to change that base color down here to whatever color you want, but I'm changing mine to black. So I'm going to go and remove the roughness to have a little shine on it. Alright. So now at this point, what you want to do, you want to select your front face. You want to zoom in a little bit more, hold shift, hold the alt key. And you're going to get right on the edge that's between these two faces and click to select all the faces around in that row. And we're going to come over here to our material tab, add another material. You can hit new to create a new material, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit my drop down arrow right here besides my material, and I'm going to select this gold right here. And after I select it, I hit assign to assign it. And as you see, if I go back into object mode now, it has that gold base. Alright. So now we are going to add a little bit of text to our trophy. So in the empty area, you can click. You want to hit Shift A to bring up our add menu, and we want to go down and select text. Once the text comes up, let's hit GX to move it along the X plane. Alright. Then from there, over here on our material, well, near our material tab, we have the text editor. We'll go here, and then we'll, underneath font, we'll change our font. You can just click on font, it'll find your fonts. Normally it's in your drive, your Windows C drive under fonts. So let's just select one here. Let's just grab one that comes up. Alright, so now we have our font selected. So what we're going to do now is go into edit mode, and you only have two modes in text mode, object and edit. So let's click on edit. Let's erase what we have here, and let's type in congratulations. Oh. Okay, nope, that's not going to work. Congratulations. Blender Master. Alright, and then once we do that, we'll go back over here to our font tab, and we will go down and select underneath the fonts the paragraph alignment, and let's center that. Alright. So now after we've centered that, we can go back into object mode. We can right click on our text, and we can go down and set origin to geometry to move the origin, which is this little small orange dot here, to the center of our geometry. Alright. So now what we want to do now, we want to rotate this. So we want to rotate it on the X axis. So as you see, red is X, green is Y, blue that you can't see here though, going up and down is Z. So let's go to our text here and hit rotate, which is R. And we're going to rotate on the X axis, which is X, and then we'll key in 90 degrees and hit enter. Alright, so now that we have that done, we're going to hit 3 to get a side view, and you can still see my text right here. I'm going to hit G, Y to move it on the Y axis to move it forward. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit and get everything in front of my face. Then we're going to hit rotate to kind of line it up, and then we're going to hit S to scale it down because we want to fit it onto our plate. Going to hit G again to move it towards our plate here. Kind of zoom in a little bit. Hit G again to bring it a little bit closer. And as you see, this edge right here is close. This one is not. So we want to hit rotate again and hold shift to rotate in increments until we get that lined up. That looks right about there. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's hit G and bring this closer to our trophy here. Bam, bam, see? Yep. All right, so now what we want to do, that we have it placed at the correct rotation, is go back over to our text editor tab, and we're going to scroll up, and you should see, where is it at? Underneath geometry, the extrude. So we're going to extrude it just a little bit, about right there. And as you see, it's coming up off of our trophy. So at this point, we can hit grab again. And in this case, since it was already a front-facing geometry, now we can actually use, we can go globally. So let's try hitting G, Y, and then tap Y again. And that's not it. So it should be, let's see, G, X, X. Nope, 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 that's not it either. G, X, X. Oh, G, Z, Z. Right. G, Z, Z. And now we can move it locally and raise it up right there. So now you'll notice that when I come out of this this view, my text should be centered off to my right, over here to my right. So now I can just simply move that by hitting GX and moving it over. Coming to the front of my trophy, hitting GX and lining it up. Alright, so our text is in place, so all we have to do now is just put a material on it. So we go over here to material, click on material, hit the, instead of hitting new, I'm going to use one of the colors I previously used. So we'll hit our drop down arrow here besides our material, and I'm going to select blue. Alright, and there we go. And there you have it. You have your text added to the plate of your trophy. Alright, good deal. So now next, what we're going to do, we're going to actually show you a little bit about UV unwrapping. Alright, so let's select our trophy here. Now we have all of these colors that's in here, right? So we're going to remove them. So I'm going to select the top one and click this minus button here to remove all of these colors. Just keep clicking minus until they're all removed. So you should be left with just your white texture, or your white color. Alright. So I did place a texture in the chat that you can use. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a new texture here. So first we're going to hit new. We're going to double click on this material. We're going to call it texture. Alright. And then for our base color, we're going to click on the yellow dot for base color and go to image texture. Alright. So once you go to image texture, we will go to open. And wherever you have saved your texture at, that's where you'll go to locate your texture. Mine is over here in projects. Let's see, textures. Let's see, modified date. And there we go. There's my texture there. So I'm going to get this texture and bring it in. All right. So if you notice, when we bring in the texture, it looks good up here towards the top, but as you get down towards the stem, it's scrunched up. Towards the bottom here, it's scrunched up, and then it looks somewhat good down here on the base. But what we want is, we want this texture to be smooth flowing from the cup to the stem to the base. And how we do that is by doing something called UV unwrapping. UV unwrapping is taking a 3D image and unwrapping it to where you lay it on a 2D plane and apply a texture to it that will wrap to it in 3D space. Alright? Alright, so let's get started. So first what we want to do is we want to make sure that our cup is highlighted, and we want to go into edit mode. Alright? So we're going to start unwrapping this. And how you unwrap is, you want to take as many geometrical shapes as possible and unwrap them. Alright, so up here we're going to grab, we're going to go into edge select. We're going to get on the line that's at the rim here, this line right here. Going to select that line by holding Alt and clicking on that line that we want to select going around. So Alt and click that line. And then from that point, you want to right click and select Mark Seam. So you'll see a red line come up on your cup. Now, when you're looking at the cup in the front and you're doing a UV unwrap, you want to put your seam somewhere where it's unnoticeable. So in this case, we're going to put it around here on the back side. So we can hit Control 1 to go straight to the back side. Zoom in a little bit. And we want to start grabbing the lines that's dead center. So we'll click on this first line, then hold Shift, click on that line, and so on and so forth, all the way down the back of our cup here. So now when we get to this base right here, instead of going, well, yeah, we can go all the way down. Yeah, let's go all the way down. It's about maybe right there. And then we're going to right click and select Mark Seam. All right, so we have a seam going all the way down the back of the cup now. All right, so now we shall put a seam all the way around this line right here, down here. Mark seam. So now it's separated. The stem is separated. And maybe add one more seam right here going around as well. So mark seam. And then we also want to add a seam here, going all the way around the top of the base. So mark seam. And then we want to add a seam going down the center of this one, going around the bottom here. Right click and mark seam. Be careful not to mark sharp. Oh, got my cup down there a little bit lower, so let's fix that real quick. Let's go back into object mode. Let's go to our cup. Click on our cup and hit GZ to raise it up. We want to get our line right above right there. And then switch back into edit mode. And then put another seam there and mark seam. Alright. So now we want to grab that seam that's at the very bottom, that edge, and select Alt and click. Alt and click to select that entire seam going around and mark seam. Alright. So now we have a seam here on the base, we have a seam on the bottom, we have this sectioned off, and we have the stem sectioned off, we have the cup sectioned off. So now we want to section off the inside. But instead of putting a seam right here for you to see, we're going to go to the front. So let's go here. We're going to mark a seam right here. Alright, so we're going to mark all the way down inside of the cup to about, oh, you know what, no, let's take this one instead and mark up. Yeah, let's mark up. So you're holding shift. That's how I'm able to select multiple lines at once, is by holding shift and clicking those edges. Alright, and then we're going to hit mark seam. Then we're going to hold alt again and select all of the seams in the bottom of our cup right there. And we're going to click mark seam again. So now we have completely unwrapped the cup. Alright, so next what we're going to do is we're going to click on the bottom left hand corner of the screen here. See down here at the bottom left hand corner, you'll see where my mouse is, right down here in the bottom left hand corner. We're going to click and hold and drag to the right to open up a duplicate screen. Once that duplicate screen is opened up, we're going to go to the very top left hand corner, right up here where your editor type is. You're going to click this little drop down arrow and you're going to select UV editor. Alright, bear with me one moment please. All right, so now that we have everything unwrapped, we have our second editor window open. What we're going to do is we are going to hit, we're going to come over to our 3D port window. We're going to hit all to select all of our edges in our seams. If you notice over in your UV window that's on your left, if you zoom in, it's just showing the UV unwrap for the cylinder. You know what I'm saying? You got the two bases and then the middle portion. So what we want to do is to reflect the cup that we've unwrapped. So now, if I hit U, if I come over here to my 3D port and hit U, you're going to have your UV mapping window. You want to select unwrap and see how everything just switched up for the cup. So now if I go back into object mode, now as we see, our UVs are flowing smoothly down the cup, all the way down. All right. All right, and that's basically how you UV unwrap. All right, and there you have it. You want to go back through, let's switch back into edit mode. Now the reason why we did this, right, so let me show you what it would have looked like if we would have unwrapped this. And let's see, let's right click, let's clear all of our seams, right? And let's unwrap this again. So let's hit A, press unwrap, and then unwrap it. Nope, it's not doing what I wanted it to do. Okay, so down here you're getting an error. Edge seams may be needed. So let's just say that we did that. Let's mark an edge seam. Let's just do something that we're not supposed. Let's do something that we're not supposed to do. Let's mark it like this, right? All the way down, and just half and half. So we're gonna mark the seam, and then we're gonna hit all, and then we're gonna hit U to unwrap. Watch how that looks. See how this looks? And now if we go into object mode, it's not really the way that we want it. I mean, it sort of kind of works, but not really like we wanted. Now, if this passes for you, then so be it. I mean, to be honest, it doesn't look too bad. So let's undo that. And let's go all the way back out to where our seams were added. There we go. All right. So, well, once again, that's how you UV unwrap. You want to unwrap it by sections. By its geometry. Which areas are facing. Flat. You want to try to get as many flat surfaces into your UV unwrap so they'll be mapped accordingly. All right, so that concludes this class. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a message, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. And I guess we will see you all next week. Yep. And have fun with this. Just try different methods of unwrapping, and you'll develop techniques that work for you. All right. Until next time. And don't forget to save your projects too, as well. Don't forget to save your projects.